วัสดีค่ะ Traveling from Bangkok to Singapore sounds like a long, tiring journey, but Eastern and Oriental Express has made the journey into an exciting, enjoyable, and luxurious trip. General Manager of E&O Services Singapore, Lisa Lovelace, discusses the opportunities and challenges of operating a luxury train experience. Lisa, how did the Eastern and Oriental Express train journey start?
The Eastern Oriental Express train was the idea of the founder of Orient Express Hotels, Trains and Cruises, Mr. James Sherwood, who's responsible for having relaunched the original Orient Express train in Europe, the Venice Simplon Orient Express, and having reintroduced that service almost 30 years ago now. He decided that he'd like to expand and that Asia would be the perfect place for a luxury train service. So he started exploring the idea of positioning a train here, and 19 years ago the E&O was put into service.
In Southeast Asia?
In Southeast Asia, yes, operating between Singapore and Bangkok. And the journeys have changed a little bit over the 19 years, but our classic journeys, as we call them, are still the 2 and 3 night trips that connect Singapore with Bangkok or vice versa.
How would you describe luxury train travel?
Oh, well, luxury is the key word. It's all about relaxing and indulging in luxury, and I think part of that luxury nowadays is the time to do something at a slow pace and be able to enjoy the scenery out the windows and indulge in a beautiful meal that's delivered at a nice leisurely pace and not have to worry about anything, to have a fantastic onboard team who have your whole schedule in order, and they'll remind you about where you need to be when, and otherwise you can just relax and visit with the other passengers on board, or do nothing if you choose to just indulge in the beautiful surroundings of the train and an opportunity to just say completely relax. So
why would anyone want to travel slow these days? What's the appeal?
Oh, I think we all work too hard these days, and everyone is constantly, scrambling, and we're all under so much pressure all the time anymore. And so to be able to take a few days where you don't necessarily have to juggle your schedule and worry about, everyone coming at you and needing your time, I think that's the appeal for a lot of our guests, is something that's at a very leisurely pace. And of course, on the train, we have some cellular telephone service, but it does drop in and out a little bit as the train moves, and we have no Wi-Fi on board. So for a lot of our guests, they quite enjoy being able to tell their offices and their secretaries and their business partners, I'm sorry, I won't be online for a couple of days, because they can shut off and just relax and not worry about the phone ringing or checking the emails and all of that.
Who are the main travelers?
Our market is really diverse. We have, in the course of our 19 years, had guests from 120 different countries. So our biggest market at the moment is guests from the UK, but our second largest market for 2012 is actually Asia Pacific. So, and for us that means everywhere from New Zealand and Australia right up through China and Taiwan. So all of the Southeast Asian countries as well. And those markets are our two biggest markets at the moment. But as I say, we get guests from all over Europe, from the US, from Latin America. We get Brazilians and Argentinians and Chileans. We get guests from South Africa.
All the way here.
All the way here, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a long way to come, but we do get a really diverse crowd on board, and I have to say, for many of our guests, one of the other appealing factors, one of the things they seem to enjoy the most, is that opportunity to mix and mingle with other passengers from all over the world. So it's very common on a journey to have passengers from 8 or 10 or 12 different countries. So you can leave the train after 2 nights on board and have met people from all over.
What about Asian? Do they take this type of travel? as
Yes, you'll see some Asian guests on board on this journey. It's not our biggest market, and we still are working very hard to encourage more bookings from Southeast Asia. But we think there's, a lot of factors to that. Asia has no history of luxury train travel, other than the royal carriages in Thailand. Most of Asia's never had the concept of trains being a luxurious, elegant way to
Right.
travel. So, for guests who are a little more well off and who are choosing for a more luxurious or 5-star holiday, they don't necessarily automatically think of trains the way that guests in Europe or North America do, where we have a history of our presidents and our movie stars and royal families and spies and captains of industry, all for the last 120 years. Trains were the most elegant and most luxurious way to travel in much of the world. So there's that association in other countries and cultures that Asia's never really had. So, and I think a lot of people also dismiss what's in their own backyard. We all think, oh, I can do that anytime. But,
Right.
if I'm going to take a big holiday, I want to go to Europe or Australia or America. And so, it takes sometimes after you've been further away to decide that you're going to stay home and enjoy a holiday in your own country.
What's the experience you want travelers to get out of traveling with E&O Express?